Welcome back, listeners. This is Manhood Mindset on WVGS 91.9 The Buzz. We got canceled last week, but we back.
Gotta have it, man. I know the people been asking, what in the world are y'all doing? We got stuff to do. Mm-hmm. Life is happening, you know what I mean? So
always.
Thank you, man. So thank y'all so much for tuning back in. We are live on Ustream. Make sure you go to ustream.com and search Manhood Mindset. That's on ustream.com. This show is this show is being recorded, so we're going to try to upload this on Facebook and on YouTube, SoundCloud, all of that good stuff. All right, man. So just shout out to everybody. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Thank you for all your support, all of the cool comments that you all are leaving on social media, Facebook, text messages, personal phone calls saying how good the show is, man. We really appreciate everything that you all are doing, man. And I'm Big Chris from Ellenwood, man. Just in case you know who I was and this is your first time tuning in, fellas, tell them who you are, where you from.
Man, Demetrius Houston from Statesboro, Georgia.
Man, I see you representing hard too, man.
I got to.
For the fam. I see it. We're gonna talk about that game too.
Yeah,
man.
Go ahead, man. You can have all the conversation you want. All the convo you want.
For sure.
I'm Dale from Riverdale, man, the great city of Riverdale, about 13 miles south of Atlanta. You already know we're squad. For sure.
And I rep that east side, man. So we just, basically, this is Manhood Mindset, ladies and gentlemen. Just in case if this is your first time listening in, this is our attempt to talk about mental health and how it affects black men. Just because we have black men as the top of our conversation does not mean you cannot benefit from the conversations that we're having. This is the initiative from Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, Brother You On My Mind, and Stop the Violence campaign. To get more information about it, you can go to oppf.org to get more information. But we are Zeta Delta Delta at Georgia Southern University, man. Shout out to the bros, man. So thank y'all so much for tuning in. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking about mental warfare, but we're going to really kind of chime in about what we've been seeing in the last couple of weeks, how our week is going, what we're trying to get going on, and all of that good stuff, man. So, Houston, we want to start us off. I see you repping, man. Go ahead and just talk. Go ahead and rep one time. Get it out the way.
Well, I ain't got much to say. I see, y'all saw it.
They beat the whole team, man. Everybody, man.
I had to ride the model with all them Falcon
I know,
fans.
right? All right. Yeah. All the Jordan faces. Strong.
At first it wasn't. I ain't been talked that much trash. Been talked to me in a long time.
I know, right? I know. That's what we're gonna do now.
But it was quiet on the way back to the house.
Crickets.
It was quiet crickets. You right. But it was a good game. I enjoyed the atmosphere.
Yeah,
I can actually see myself going to a Falcons game.
Yeah. How many Falcon games you ever been to?
That was my first one.
Get out of here, for real?
Yeah.
That's what's up, man.
It was a good experience. There was a lot of people. A lot of folks. They talked trash, but it was in good fun.
It was a good fun. Yeah. So describe how you when you first walked into to the Dome. So you got to meet a couple of the players and stuff too, right?
Oh yeah.
So describe that experience, man.
I mean, for me, it's like like being a big kid,
right?
When you were a kid and you look up the athletes, when you was you love sports yourself, and you get to walk in and meet a lot of those guys, man. Some of them, they act a little funny, but you got most of them, they down home people, the ones who are cool. That's you can kind of tell,
Yeah.
Other than that, you have to realize some of them have a reason why they act like that.
Yeah. Probably been slapped by mistake.
Yeah, they go a lot of places. A lot of people coming at them all the time. So it's a different mindset, but you get used to it.
Yeah, that's real. The atmosphere when you walked in, you said there was a lot of trash talking, but it was cool.
It was cool
when you walked into the Dome, man, and all of that good stuff. And what kind of seats did you have?
Oh, I was
the
right on the 50-yard line,
right on the 50th,
third row.
The fifth
section 137, seat 312.
Right. So
and the funny thing is, my birthday 312, and I was my seat number, row 3, seat 12.
Hey man, no coincidence, Ryan.
Yeah, ain't no coincidence. God know what he's doing.
Exactly.
Took Pops with me. That was his first NFL game too.
For sure. And we're gonna talk about that too. So just in case if people don't know, who are you related to on one of the football teams?
Oh, that's Justin Houston. My kid brother.
Exactly. Born and bred in Statesboro, GA, right?
Right here in Statesboro, GA.
For sure. And describe y'all relation. I know we talked about it about a couple of weeks ago.
Relationship great, man. It's like big brother, little brother, but sometimes the little brother got to get on the big brother. You got to be when you teach people things, you got to be willing to receive it from them too.
True that.
When they can see it's something that you can do better.
True that.
That's the trick to being someone with when you have wisdom, you got to learn that everything is not about what you think or what you say.
Right.
You got to be able to listen to others also, because they can actually show you something that you can't see.
True that. And it was a family affair as well. You mentioned you were there with your pops, right?
All my brothers and sisters went there. Me and my dad got a ticket. I got him a ticket, and we I took him up there, and we got a chance to bond. You know, we've been working on our relationship for the last 5 years.
That's real. I know we talked about that a while back.
You know, things has gotten a lot better, and that's why.
Cool.
You know, I think I'm killing demons as this goes further, because you let stuff go, and if a lot of guys could do that or had the opportunity,
right,
they would it would be beneficial,
right.
And some just can't. You know, pops might not be here no more or whatever. So I advise you to give your flowers while they're still here.
That's true. That is true.
And if pops being stubborn and don't want to act right, you take the step.
Man, somebody got to be grown. Make sure it's you.
That's right. But if it's you, what you think comes after that?
I know.
That's the breakdown comes next. Because he's gonna be wondering why do we even care? Mm-hmm. And when you touch him like that, man, and if you got to be truly heartless not to receive it.
Right. And today, like we talking about mental warfare, man, that got to go. There has to be some episodes in your mind that you had to battle some demons. You mentioned battling demons and all of that stuff.
I mean, the reason why I said demons is because that's what it was.
That's what it is.
Yeah, that's what it turned into. Mm-hmm. It was something that bothered me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe to another person it wouldn't have been something like that, but for me, that's what it did. So,
yeah.
You know, everybody can handle certain things differently. Mm-hmm. But I understand now more so than ever that it was a reason why everything happened like that, and I accept it now. So my acceptance of why life was the way it was has helped in the healing process.
Right.
And it also has helped in the forgiving process too.
True that. I know we talked about at the shop a little bit about how forgiveness it could be a spiritual war tactic. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? To conquer the battles that you got going on, man. Yeah. So, and you know, mental warfare, spiritual warfare, it's all combined. You know what I'm saying? It's all related, and you know, in my eyes and stuff. Mm-hmm. But what you believe, man, will either make and break you, or make or break you, depending on what you're going through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I realize, man, some of the most detrimental lies I've ever believed is some of the ones that I've told myself. Mm-hmm. Or I've allowed somebody to make bigger than what it's supposed to be. You know what I mean?
You thinking when you lying to yourself, thinking, well, that's not a problem. It's not bothering me. But you got to keep telling yourself it's not bothering you. Because it is bothering you.
Exactly. And you talked about kindness, man. I had a brief conversation with a good friend of mine today about killing them with kindness, right? And we talk a lot about words and definitions on this show. Because you'd be surprised just because we say a word that we automatically assume that people know the definition, right? Mm-hmm. And definitions change with the person you're talking to.
The person you're talking to and the content you put in the word in.
Exactly. So now check this out. One thing that was interesting with us today, you're killing them with kindness instead of niceness, right? Mm-hmm. And we talked about it. I said, well, what is niceness and what is kindness, right? Mm-hmm. And I said, well, I choose to look at it based off the word, right? Mm-hmm. Niceness is you just doing something to make sure something happens, right?
Niceness a lot of times can be a perception.
Exactly.
You know I can act nice to you,
right?
But I can be nice nasty,
right?
Kindness is I'm just kind to whoever is around me, and people it'll rub off, and folks just will feel it.
And check this out. I have another spin on the word kind, right? Mm-hmm. Kill them with kindness. What if you kill them with the ability to not let that situation affect who you are as a person? So you killing them with the kind of person you are.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You're not put like this. If I wronged you, right? Mm-hmm. And I know I wronged you, you know I wronged you, right? Mm-hmm. But next time I see you, you got the same demeanor. You act like ain't nothing happened, but it's not like you sugarcoat nothing. Mm-hmm. You ain't giving me no gifts or nothing like that. But you going on about your day, killing me with kindness. You showing me what kind of person you are.
I think when you killing a person with kindness, if you take the eye test off that statement, you know, and just look at, okay, maybe I got to kill you with kindness just by not speaking to you, even if you speak to me, because I'm angry enough to do something to you.
Yeah.
I'm being kind to you right now because I'm not going to say anything to keep me from going to the level that I want to go.
Stepping out your character.
All right, then.
Right.
But to that person, he just being rude.
Yeah.
He just being mean. But this level of mean that I'm showing you could be worse.
Man, sometimes it's the best level I can show.
So to be honest with you, like I was trying to share with Brother Dale earlier, you can't worry about how other people view what you have to do to keep yourself sane.
Exactly. Your mentality is your situation.
No attention, because if you pay that some attention, you're gonna run yourself crazy trying to please everybody around you or trying to figure out why they don't like you. And when that really doesn't matter. What matters is how you feel about you.
Right.
You know the truth.
Right.
And it's hard when you by yourself and isolated yourself and you're trying to figure out, okay, what's wrong? And no one is, you have no one to encourage you or give you motivational words. And then you start getting in that idle mind, that dark place.
Yeah.
You start thinking crazy stuff. You start thinking, well, why does this person act like this? Or why does this person act like that? And you really sometimes could be overreacting. And I've done that just in friendships, relationships.
Exactly.
Be overreacting and thinking something that could possibly be going on just the way I think the dominoes are going to fall when that person might not think how I would think in that situation or will respond that way. So you got to give a person the benefit of the doubt.
That's kind of reminded me, about like middle school and elementary school, and I know we probably done had our people we done had to confront, you know what I mean, or somebody thought they had to mess with us every day just to get they little swag or they shine on, right? Just you that person, right? And it got to the point where, I'm growing up as a big kid in DeKalb County. You finna get Joan to death. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is.
That's how you become good at what you do.
Man, you had to be a comedian.
That's right.
You got to be a comedian. You gonna be a comedian or you gonna be an MMA.
Yeah.
You just one of the. You gonna be funny or you gonna be off the top rope with an elbow in somebody's forehead. That's about it. You gonna be funny or violent.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Exactly. So you gonna be entertaining or explaining. It's gonna be something else. But I put like this. I remember it got so deep one day. And it got so consistent to the point where you get off the bus ready. You know what I mean?
You already know in your mind. Yeah, it's on.
Right,
and I know who it's gonna be.
Exactly. Now you know what I'm saying. I speak with local kids at local schools, man, and some of them get picked on so bad they get out the car ready. You know what I mean? And you can't really blame them, like because some people are scarred. You know what I mean? It's I'm not diagnosing anybody, but I'm looking at PTSD. That's post traumatic. That means something.
Strugglers have whole grudges. We be 40 years old and be sitting back mad at a cat when you see him for the first time in 20 years. Man, think about how you used to pick on me in school. Man, be ready to do something to him.
Exactly, or bring up something that you really don't remember and probably you didn't even do. It was like, I remember that time y'all had picked on me. I was like, who was y'all? You and Charles and them and Fred. I never hung with them. That wasn't you? That was Daryl and them. Man, I've been mad at you for 20 years. You be like, dude. Yep. Like, for real, man. Exactly, man. Exactly. So, but the one thing I wanted to say is, like, sometimes when you go through so much, you can get out the car with me against the world to the point where you can create me against the world.
Yep. And I mean, when the stuff is always coming at you at a high pace, it's like one thing after the other, you get defensive. You start putting your guards up against everyone and everything going on around you, and then the people who mean you no harm, they looking at you like, why you so stiff towards me? Right. Why you so cold towards me? And you have to explain, well, you haven't done anything to me. I'm protecting myself. But then at the end of the day, you get tired of living like that too. Yeah. It's a balance in this thing. You get tired of living in that defense mode. I've been in defense mode my whole life. Right. And now it's like, okay, I've learned now what's gonna be.
Yeah. It's tiresome because I'm not used to this at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll drain you.
I wake up tired, honestly. I'm not even trying to exaggerate. Yeah. Sometimes like, man, I done slept for 9 hours. I feel like I ain't slept 30 minutes, especially in my situation.
You've been laying down for 9 hours but not sleep.
Yeah, that's true too.
You ain't resting. You know what I'm saying? You may be laying down, but you ain't resting.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's like
praying about these grades.
Yeah. A lot of jokers don't realize how serious this thing is, man. They don't want to know how serious it is. They don't want to grow up. Yeah. You see it all the time. You look at our youth around here now, even with the youth sports, they ain't as tough as we was back in the day. Right. They got talent, yeah. But as far as tough, coach used to yell at you, cuss you out, jack you up if you had to get you right. But now,
send your mama email.
You know what killed me? The new penalty that killed me when it came out? Unnecessary roughness. It's football. What do you mean?
Some of them leagues, I see they call throw flags on. I be like, man, that was just a cheat. That was nothing. Them boys back in the day, man, they go on the sideline and cut a finger off and get back in the game.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you. I used to see them old NFL films, man. I'll just be like, that's not a human. Like, when you be like, cut it off, coach. I'm like, dude, you ain't gonna get that back. Like it's just the fourth quarter, man. You get another season.
It's all right.
That pinky gone.
He said, cut it off.
just cut it off. But that's what a lot of old school NFL they hate the new NFL. They can't stand it. And that's rough in the passer. Man, I remember my quarterback got DDT'd and set on fire. Like, that wasn't football.
See, the reason why they looking at all the lawsuits.
Yeah. They let them brawl back then, but now they're looking at the residual from it. All them guys all broken up, hurt up, didn't make no money. The guys now making the money from what they did back then. Like, MJ and all them, the reason why the NBA is paying like that.
Exactly. I remember when I was little, I was like, I got a question. Is that fair catch rule? Is that new? Because I never remembered that growing up.
They been had the fair catch rule.
Yeah, they had that because all that momentum, people's shoulders were getting.
There wasn't no fair catch rule. It would never be no kick return. Because it just run through you. I mean, I was a short career.
I was just curious about that because I don't remember it being called as much.
No, they just. I mean, these guys out here now, man. They unreal with their size and speed.
Yeah, it's literally playing.
So they call it more now.
Yeah. They just the players are smart. They want to they realize you looking up in the air and can't see it coming.
Yeah, as a contract year, and be like, you know what?
It's not
fair catch.
Fair catch.
Fair catch.
Fair catch. Yeah, live to fight another day. You know what I mean? But
man,
it is. I mean, the game is always going to be changing. Speaking of football, man, look at what we dealing with as a people, though. You know what I mean? Y'all ever talk to some of the elders that went through something way more unique than what we're going through? You know how history repeats itself, right? And we're going through the same kind of things, some of the same categories of discrimination. But man, when you really just start getting into your history,
discrimination evolves.
Yeah, it just
evolves.
Right,
they learn new ways to be racist.
Right,
you have to learn new ways to fight it.
Exactly. And so now, but now that some of the elders that I talk to and just older people in general, man, it was more in your face, physical brutality. You know what I mean? Now, don't get me wrong, we dealing with it now.
Yeah, but they was able to just walk up to you and just say something or put their hands on you.
Yeah, man. Back then,
and
it was.
If you even fought back, something would happen to you.
Exactly.
And how many days would someone have your father or granddaddy would have to come home with that rage inside of him when you just punked me and I couldn't do nothing about it. And
still trying to head a household,
be the head of the household, but then you dealing with someone who living with you. That don't respect you.
Right. All right.
So then you expect this man to be in the house and not retaliate on somebody. So then the abuse comes, the alcohol comes, and then his domestic violence shows up. He put his hands on his old lady, the kids kitchen ass cuttings. You know what I'm saying? So now you got to look at what's causing this.
Yeah,
it's set up because
internal rage.
You poor. You already getting treated less than human, and you coming home and not getting the respect you feel you deserve for what you taking outside the home.
Yep, that's a lonely place for a man, though.
And then now, I do agree, man. A lot of cats took it too far. That's why we are it's just like I was just saying how the athletes back in the days, the reason why the athletes now are getting the money they're getting. The guys and the fathers and the husbands back then, they are the reason why we got child support and got these domestic violent laws and all this stiff punishment for stuff like that.
A lot of stuff was popping off.
That's right, because of what they done. So everything has an effect if it's either good or bad. So we got to live that. And so it's like, okay, I could get in a fight in school, get 5 days out, 5 days in, back to class. Kids, if you 16 or 17 at the high school, now you get in a fight, the sheriff coming to get you and you got a charge.
God.
You got a battery charge. They automatically, I don't care who it is, both of you getting a battery charge.
Even if you're defending yourself.
That's right. They starting you off. They starting you off with something on your record. But man, we were some hellions.
Yeah.
It's our fault that they got to go through that. That's still punishment for what they do because we got away with it, and they were like, what can we do to detour them from fighting so much? Or we got to put fear in them some kind of way.
And people get bigger, taller, and the fights, you can't break them up as quick like you used to. You get in there and try to break something up, and your kneecap gone.
Or if you get in there, you like me and trying to break something up, and one of them hit you, now you fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah,
that's real.
So
Real.
now you got to realize, okay, should I just let them fight and let security break it up? They could possibly hurt each other, but I got kids, I got a wife, I got family.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? I need my job. I don't need no lawsuits. These cameras in here and all that. You really want to say, look, I can control this classroom, but by y'all rules, I can't do it.
Right.
Because the way I know how to control this classroom, I can get some respect around here. But
Right.
if I do it my way, I ain't gonna have no job. So they put those rules there to keep you from doing it your way, because your way works. That ain't what they want.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember teachers I'm from Clayco, so I remember like the teachers who really did care were the toughest teachers. Like the toughest, as long as you trying, you wasn't gonna fail. But I'm telling you, some of the toughest teachers I had didn't play no pop off on you in a minute. Boy, you need to sit down.
And you know why it was like that? Because most of the time those teachers knew your parents, and they knew a lot of people that was close to you. See, back in the neighborhood I come from, William James, man, a lot of those teachers grew up with my grandparents. So they, who your people? Oh, okay, I got something for you. It's already to the house when you get there. You know what I mean? You ain't got to take the slip home. It's already there. You can be walking down the street and do something disrespectful.
That's true.
Miss Drummer down the street gonna get you. Miss Baldwin down the street, somebody gonna get you. And they gonna take you back down until you to Miss Holland house or Miss Jackson or somebody. I'm calling the names that was on my street when I was a kid growing up. They gonna let you know, and they gonna go tell your parents.
Yeah.
They used to share food with each other. Like, my granddaddy had hogs and stuff. Or when they would clean them,
Hell yeah.
he would give certain families, they would just share food. Like they go
The barter system.
Yeah, go pick peas and vegetables. They would share. They would give certain ones certain stuff. That's how they did it. And even when they bake cakes, the ladies on the street would take this and that. And the ones who mess with each other, you know how it is. But that's gone. You don't see that no more.
It's unfortunate. I wish I would have got to grow up like that.
Shoot, man, you don't see that no more. And the reason why you don't see it is because each generation that die out, morals go with it.
Yeah.
Because when we coming up, we say, why mama so strict, or why daddy so strict on me about this? I don't see no problem with this and that. When you get a kid, well, I ain't like that, it's all right. But now you won't see the reason why it ain't all right when your kid get to being all out of place, and you can't control him, but you wonder why your parents could control you. You took away something they gave you when you had your child. You didn't use what they taught you. You took something away. So now you missing something. What is it? Discipline.
Yeah. It's willing to get something done and do what you got to do. Yeah. But one thing I realized too, convenience and discipline, they battle. You know what I mean? And one thing as a people, we were bombarded with a lot of conveniences. Yeah. And sometimes when you convenient, why take the harder route when something is right there in front of your face?
The biggest convenience we have now is technology.
Exactly.
You know what? I gotta admit that, because I did find my son love to watch TV. So sometimes and I love playing with him, don't get me wrong, but when daddy was tired and just wanted to sleep a little bit,
you knew what to put on the TV.
Yep, put it right on the TV and lay down. He just sitting there.
Yeah, and it's convenient.
Just there.
It's convenient.
Happy.
Yep.
But I mean, I've done it too. Like if I'm trying to cook or clean while I got my kids, I know what to put on the show. I go forget Bear Rabbit or now he loves Space Jam, so I let him watch. If he loves basketball,
he like old school stuff.
Yeah, I let him watch this new stuff.
That's tight. You gotta watch it too.
Yeah, that Warner Brothers, Bugs Bunny and stuff like that. The old cartoons. That's what I go find them. Like Walmart got that bin. They like $5.
Yeah, heck yeah.
I go in there and just look through them and get all the cartoons. Yeah, the stuff that I grew up on that I know was about teaching them something or what, and all that violence and even the cartoons now got sex in them for kids.
Dang,
and it be on the low too.
Yeah, but
it really ain't on the low.
But it's on the low if you a child.
Yeah, but for us it be right. I'd be like, goodness.
But for a kid that's swift, you pick up real quick.
Yeah. I started notice like they started putting details on the female characters. Like the crotch is defined, the breast is defined.
We always used to have to guess what that gonna be. When you used to see a cartoon character back in the day, even Lola Bunny, she come out all stacked up, but now you look at Lola, you're like, damn, Lola.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What's up with this?
Hey, look, Lola got a Snapchat. Like for real, man. Like Jessica Rabbit and all of them. I remember Jessica Rabbit.
Rabbit was always.
When Jessica Rabbit first came out, I was just like, I like this movie. That's the only thing I can say. And one day I'm like, what?
I also realized they do those movies a lot to help entertain adults too.
Yeah, it really is.
It's like how the cartoon movies took off. After Lion King, they just took off.
Yeah,
DreamWorks come in the picture, it took off.
Yeah, because the way it's strategic, and me being a film and production major, well, communications with emphasis in film and production is genius. Because it's like the kids are having the time of their life, but it's slick stuff in there for the parents.
Yeah.
It's so much
That'll
slick
keep
stuff.
you wanting to come to the movies and bring your kids and watch it instead of sitting there bored. Like, man, I'm just here because my kid want me to be here. You actually be finding yourself at the house watching the movie when the kid don't be around.
Yep.
Be funny.
Like Kung Fu Panda. I watch that when my kids ain't with me.
But I love Kung Fu Panda. Here's the legends of the Kung Fu. But
I watch that. You can listen to the messages in there, like Cruise.
Yeah.
listen to the messages in there. Even that the Ice Age movies. Listen to the messages now.
Yeah, Ice Age be getting down.
Messages in that movie.
It'd be some really uplifting stuff, especially in Kung Fu Panda.
Right.
For fat children, Kung Fu Panda is the move.
Hilarious. I got to watch it now.
Because it's like, you can be, like, I don't know what it is, but Kung Fu Panda, I connected with it at a very, well, I wouldn't say young age because it ain't been out that long, but high school, I connected with Kung Fu Panda because it was like, you can be the man and be over 300 pounds. It can happen. And be fired and everybody else around you that's skinny and small. I just liked it. And then it also, a lot of people, what they don't realize is Kung Fu Panda also make kids who know that they're adopted feel comfortable because his father is a duck. It's all kind of stuff in there, like
subliminal messages. Or
stuff. People who have parents that are different races from them are different or whatever. It's just...
See, that's a picture you can make a poster out of right now.
It shall be.
That's tight.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a poster out of it.
You can send that into Fat Heads.
Yeah, they could probably make that.
Fat Heads, no, they do custom image. They'll make it.
Oh, that's tight.
Yeah, that's what's up.
That is tight, man. So let's go ahead and grab a break real quick. We're gonna get into some musical selections or whatnot, but we're gonna really get in depth about some of the things that you can use while you battling. Let's go ahead and say what it is: battling evil spirits, man, battling evil people, battling evil situations.
Just basically negativity.
Yeah, man, mental warfare, man. We're really trying to get it done. We have a lot of people out there that's really dealing with a lot of things, and they may not understand what other people are doing to get by or get through it. You know what I mean? Some people don't want to escape by the situation. They know they're in that situation for a certain reason. They want to learn what they're supposed to learn in it, and they just trying to make sure they're doing the right things. You know what I mean? So we're going to give y'all a few examples, some of the probably some things that we went through personally, and probably some things that that we know about that other people have gone through. I got a lot of things to share, man. The holidays, just, you know, that we're in the holiday season. You know, Thanksgiving is pretty much like a continuous thing from Thanksgiving and Christmas, man. But the holidays and the wintertime, it is a very, very depressing time of year for a lot of people. You know what I mean? And a lot of people have to battle a lot of things. So what we're going to do, we're going to have an intentional conversation about how to win the battle of your mind. All right? So we're going to be right back in a minute. Big Dog, you want to take us out?
All right. We're going to go on break. This is Manhood Mindset on WVGS 91.9 The Buzz. All right, welcome back. This is Manhood Mindset on WVGS 91.9 The Buzz, and we're back, and we're going to switch up the topics just a little bit.
Exactly, man. So we talked about briefly about some of the things that we've been seeing out in the world and how we handle them. But we're going to get real specific, and we're talking about mental warfare today, but what we're going to do is discuss the art of war in itself. What is war, and how do you define it, and how do you handle it? You know what I mean? So, Houston, you want to start us off?
I mean, war can be viewed several different ways, man. It's like, if you want to go into mental warfare, you can go physical war. And what's the purpose of war? Somebody is something, or someone wants control of something.
Right.
And
right.
It's always to someone else's benefit, and it's also to someone else's demise.
Right. Right.
So you can't have, when you have war, it's always for someone else's gain and someone else's loss. Mental warfare normally is always, of course, it's negativity that's floating around you that causes you to, to overthink sometimes. But ultimately, it's to bring you down, because you can make a decision that can hurt you when it really wasn't that serious. You say, well, this is what I thought it was, so I done made this decision, but I can't take it back. It's ultimately to bring you down as a person. And not only poor people have that problem, rich folks go through the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
When you got all this wealth and you sitting around and then you can't figure out why am I not happy.
Mm-hmm.
And then the only time I'm happy is when I'm causing somebody else a problem.
When you spread negativity.
Yeah. I don't want to look at no one in a positive light. It's always looking to have something bad to say. You know, every time you ever been around one of them kind of people, every time that somebody's name come up, or just in general, if you're talking about a certain athlete or a certain doctor, a lawyer, a preacher, whatever, they never have anything positive to say about what this person is trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's always, I don't know. He might be trying to do this. He might be trying to do that. You know, if that's your mindset all the time, you even that way with your own self. So how can you get ahead? When you hate, a lot of times you hate yourself out of your own blessing, which is progress.
That's real. I think when I look at the word war, I think of, and this is going to sound strange, man, I just think it's nonstop. I think war is a constant entity of life. Let me try to explain that. I don't understand. I guess looking at life like I've been looking at in the last, few years, pretty much like in the last 10 years, especially what we're going through right now as a people, I don't see peace. I see peaceful moments. But when you talk about the word peace, does it exist? I don't think it exists. And I'm not telling you that is give up hope for peace. I don't deal in that. What I'm saying is, if there's peace, that means there was war, and peace is pre-war. Again,
that's right. There's really no such thing as darkness. It's just light is not present.
Right. Thank you. You got it. Yeah, that was tight. Dang, man, you hit. But no, that's pretty much what it is, man. I think to the point where I look at peace and people want to have peace and a peace of mind, which is really, really good. But we already know that life is going to produce more hurdles, more barriers, something else for you to grow from. And we look for peace and we look for comfort. And then sometimes we be so peace and comfort driven that war shocks us.
You have to create your peace.
Right. You
have to recreate your peace, because you have to understand that everybody around you, agenda is different. Mm-hmm. Everybody's purpose for living is different. So if my purpose for living is to accumulate as much as I possibly can and care nothing about my fellow man, then that means I got to be willing to do whatever it takes to be in that position,
right? Based
upon the rules. You remove the rules and just hit the reset button and go back to nature. It's like, I can grow this, you can grow that, we can share. And really, it's peaceful everywhere if you remove man's way of looking at it and wanting to have power. Because first thing fear creates is doubt.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Wow. Fear create doubt, doubt in yourself, and that's that mental warfare.
And when is chaos not evil? You know what I'm saying? When is it not evil?
Chaos the only way you can look at chaos as not being evil is if you are a person who's saying, I'm going to create chaos for the greater good. Like Robin Hood.
Yeah.
I'm going to go steal from them to give to the poor because they got it all, but they won't give, so I got to take it.
Right.
It's like, the great Tupac spoke. They've been asking since the civil rights movement. They've been asking. This generation now has been bred not to ask.
Yeah.
They just taking.
With convenience.
Yeah, but they're taking through ignorance, though.
Right.
They're not just taking and accomplishing something. They're taking things of no value. But they are creating a fear in who? Those who created the rules.
Yeah.
So now we got to make new rules.
Yeah. Always got to be burning the midnight oil trying to revamp this whole system.
If it was perfect, they wouldn't have to revamp.
Exactly.
Once you find a loophole, you got to get rid of the loophole, and you name it after the person who created the loophole.
That's why I look at laws, policies, and stuff. Every time it has to be updated and reworded and all this other stuff. I think all policies and all laws and everything like that are emotional, based off who's in charge. Because the person who's in charge felt a certain type of way of what people were doing.
Yes.
And if I had enough power, I don't want them to do it anymore. So
it's not about them doing something they didn't want them doing. They were just wanting to be in power. They don't care about none of that. It's how can I stay number
in power,
one?
Period.
Yeah, I got to stay ahead. And when they start seeing the gaps close, we got to do something.
A lot of people don't know academic warfare is a reality. You know what I mean? Of course. Academic warfare, the war of your learning process, your thought process, and the war of your curriculum. A lot of people don't understand this is a war about your own curriculum like in your
teachers,
school.
Elementary school teachers, anything from K through 12, they should be one of the highest paid occupations in the country.
And that's warfare.
And if you pay them right, they'll have more patience with your child. Mm-hmm. But when you don't pay them nothing, and then these kids are not being parented at home, not all children, but you know the ones I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They come to school and just disrupt the whole time they're there, and nobody else child can learn. And that's the inner city. But that's when you go to the private school sector, you don't deal with that. They will put you where you need to be, and that child is going to get the attention it needs.
Right. And then we talk about parental involvement. Sometimes we have kids that need that extra help, but when they're minors, you need that parent to be on the same page with you. You know what I mean?
Everything starts at home, man.
Exactly. It really just does.
That's the biggest thing that I think we as black people, have gotten away from it with this younger generation, because that's not the way it was.
Right.
The way it was, all we had was home. So home was going to be ran a certain way.
Right.
Now the structure is not there. The head is not there. So now you got unruly children, disrespectful children. And what's our main thing? I want to give my kid what I didn't have.
Man.
But when you give that kid what you didn't have, what does it do? Does it help them? If you give them a stable home and, clothes on their back and food on the table, and you could, just because you can't afford to go out and buy all the luxuries and things they want, that doesn't mean you're a bad parent. So quit beating yourself up for that. That's what a lot of us do to ourselves.
Also too, man, you worry about giving somebody something you didn't have, that you forget to give them what you did have.
That's right.
And you know what I'm saying?
You're so focused on what you didn't have.
Right, man. Right. Because sometimes, put like this, right? I had a real good conversation with a friend of mine. His father didn't have a lot to give him, like with like financially and with gifts and stuff like that, right?
I bet he had plenty of wisdom.
His daddy was in his life across the board. So he grew up saying, well, we struggled. So he spent all his time at work, been missing his kid, you know what I'm saying, and ended up having to go through a divorce and all of that stuff because, things just didn't work out. He was so busy trying to
provide.
And not only that, he was living his life off a deficit, you know what I'm saying, trying to repay a debt or trying to
get ahead.
Right, or just fill up a pothole, you know what I mean? And that's the reason why, like, the way we look at our lives, especially the lives that we grew up in, man, I think as adults, replay what you saw, and sometimes you had to come to grips with what you might have gotten it wrong. You might thought your childhood was so rough and it was so bad until you start remembering all the stuff Big Mama told you.
Yeah, I do it all the time.
You know what I mean?
I look at it like, even when we lived in a 2-bedroom apartment and 8 kids, I remember how much fun we had.
Man, it was off the chain in there.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. Even though, and that was during the times when you can't. What the problem is when you get to that age, or you get exposed to certain things that moms or pops going through, and then you start to understand why they be acting the way they do. So it kind of ruin your childhood because you over there worried about stuff you can't control, really. But it's like, okay, I understand now. I understand, but you're a child, you can't do nothing about it. So. But before you can even understand how it feels not to be able to catch this light bill tomorrow, or what we gonna eat tomorrow night, what am I gonna do to bring something in the house, before you can even understand that, you have a lot of fun. Even though it's hard, you still having fun because you can't see how hard it is.
Right.
Only when you expose that child, that's when they see it. And once they see it, then it's like, okay, he's a grown up in a child's body. He can't help it because what he's seen, he can't. And then sometimes they can't help what they expose you to because they need your help. Yeah. And as a kid, they need your help. I might need you to sit here and watch the children while I go to work for these few hours.
That's true. You just got to keep it real with them.
That's right. And when I come home, can you please have them get gate? They know, please. Everybody be on wash and ate. And don't need to be nothing else. And you're gonna do it because that person already under something.
And guess what is hilarious about that? On top of it, you're looking at your whole life, and you're thinking that you are protecting your child's childhood. You know what I mean? You're trying to keep them from growing up too fast. You know what I mean? And so I'm just going to be real with that whole Santa Claus thing, right? That's right. The tooth fairy thing. All of these certain things that we trying to do to make sure that we hold our child's life. We want to hold their innocence, right? Meanwhile, what's innocent about bold-faced lies? Like, you know what I mean?
I get old enough, and they, you know, like me, I used to roam the house and search for the toys.
Right.
I felt like ain't no chimney.
Yeah.
You know,
I know we ain't got no chimney,
man.
man.
Santa Claus won't come through the back door.
Yeah.
You know, but
No.
then, like now they'll tell me, but don't ruin it for him.
Don't ruin it.
But you know what, my son will tell me, Dad, this is what I want for Christmas.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, I don't. If you know, they know about Santa and all that, but
They know.
he asked me what he wants. I say, all right, I get it for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I ain't finna raise. I'm not raising mine like that.
No.
You know what
man,
my dad used to say? When my mom was like, "You just ruined it for him, Jesse."
How did I ruin it for
So you mean to tell me I'm supposed to let a fictional fat white man take credit for what I go out here and work hard for? Or you just got that wrong? You just got that wrong, and you got that wrong. I ain't finna do it. I ain't finna do it. I did.
But you gonna know the truth.
I did it.
That's right.
I did it. Now look here. Now your mama bought you that.
Yep.
I bought you this, and your mama bought you that, and I bought you this. I bought you this here too, and your mama went half on it with me.
Man.
Now you keep on acting
real.
good at school, it'll happen again.
I knew it.
That's exactly
That's how it's supposed to be.
I knew how real it was when I started wrapping my own gifts. That was a humbling Christmas, boy.
It's over with. Then.
She was like, wrap this. I was like, oh, that's all right. Hold up, so all right, let's hug because I'm confused and I'm happy and sad. Like, bro, I had so many emotions that day. I like, so we're gonna wrap and we're gonna put them under the tree, and then in another 30 minutes, it's 11:45. So like 12:01, I can take the paper right
and get my stuff. And
man,
no more.
I like it when you get old enough to the point you just look at your mom like, don't wrap it.
Yeah.
Like she'll just come in and give you the sack. Like, you know,
those were the best.
That's when you be like, I'm grown, I ain't. And she like, yeah, it's the wrapping paper, it was gone. So
yeah, it's pretty much over.
Enjoy yourself. Yeah. And then after a while, when you getting old, you start appreciating draws. That's when I knew Christmas was real and I was getting old.
No, you know what? My mom was like, it was bad when my mom was like, Dale, I know you're in college. I know you just want clothes. But can I get you anything besides clothes? I'm like, no. I want some J's though.
Man,
I want clothes.
I told my mom, just give me some dressing and wrap it up. Just put a bow on top of the foil.
That is hilarious.
Yep, put it in some Tupperware and some of that dry ice and put it in the mail.
I'm so serious, bro. It got that real. But like we saying, like that whole that warfare itself, you know what I'm saying, battling with the lies from people that love you, you know what I mean? That trust is going out the door. A lot of people may not understand that, but when people that love you lie to you, even if they had your best interests at heart, now you gotta wonder.
It can be fixed, but it takes some time.
You do. You gotta gain that trust back. Now, don't get me wrong. I do know it's certain things that a child may not be able to comprehend, and to keep their psyche intact,
you have to do that.
You have to protect them from certain things. But you never really have to intentionally make up something. You know what I'm saying? So say, for instance, man, you got a tragedy in the family and the child don't need to know that because it can traumatize them, right? But when they get old enough to process their information and they are old enough to understand the information, tell them, you know, this is the reason why your uncle can't come around no more. You know what I mean? you know what I'm saying? Because they're going to keep asking, and then you're going to keep saying, well, you know, he go to school in Seattle. Like, and then after a while, you ask your uncle, you know, how's school going? He be like, hey, man, I ain't in school, man. I'm over here saying quitting, bro. I'm sorry that you had to find out like
I've been
this.
locked up 20 years.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's just one of those things, bro. But for real, but we talked about, you know, just the art of war in itself. And I think that looking for peace is really good, as you need that peace of mind. You need that hope that you can stay calm. But there's a physical peace, but that mental war is always something that you're trying to overcome. Is something that you're trying to grow from. I know a lot of people who own their own businesses. I met an entrepreneur over the Thanksgiving break. And one of the things that intrigued me about our conversation, he was like, man, one thing about my mindset, when I sit down with people, I said, what kind of mindset do you have? He said, well, being a business owner, I know that I can go to sleep, but I can never rest. And I said, well, explain what you mean. He says, when you're your own boss, you're responsible for the food and the clothing and the shelter. There's no one else that can say, no, you ain't got to come in today. You know what I mean? He said, you have to battle with your lazy part of yourself. And I like, really? He said, dude, I have to get up every day and fight the lazy me. saying that it'll be all right. And I said, really? He said, a lot of people going through hard times. He said, but my biggest demon is the lazy side of me.
I think that's mine too.
For sure. I think a lot of people.
I think I'm gonna be real with it. I think that's mine too, is because I got complacent.
Right.
And when you get comfortable, and then sometimes living by faith can do that to you too.
True that.
You always my faith is strong. I believe, and I believe what I believe. But at the same time, faith without work is dead.
All the time.
So I work. I've put the work in on things that I love, and I've done it. But I've realized now it's time to get back to the grind like I used to. And I think a lot of it has been because I had things mentally going on, warfare. You battling stuff that you go through. You got family situations and things that you care about a lot. And then once you realize that if you really, really love what you say you love, then right now that shouldn't even be an issue.
Right.
Because that's where I'm at now. I can see it, afterwards. But when I was in it, you just can't see that. All you know is what you know. You feel bad. You're depressed. The sun don't never shine, even when it's shining. You half the time don't want to eat, and it's just, and it's not about missing a person. It's about missing yourself.
Right. That is true.
You're not yourself right there in this moment. You're like, what can I do to get back to feeling like myself?
Man, and that irritating feeling that sometimes the demon, and we call them demons, and people call them all different types of things.
They can call it what they want.
They can call it what they want, right? And some people like, man, you wrestling with a demon. I ain't spiritual. I like, dude, you ain't got to be spiritual to be wrestling with something. I can see you disturbed. I can see something that's draining your energy.
When you say, okay, you can say, well, you wrestling with a demon, but then they say, well, I'm not spiritual. But if you start calling out what they wrestling with, then they're looking at you, okay, well, that's true.
That's true.
And so,
that's a demon. It's just a word.
What do you call it then?
Exactly.
Well, I just call it what I'm going through.
A hindrance.
A hindrance.
They call the demon a hindrance. I'm not special, so it's a hindrance. So
and it's negative.
Exactly. So I mean, that right there kind of opened my eyes with it. He said, man, my biggest war every day, my biggest demon is my lazy part of myself, me being raised. And he said, let's be honest, in our society we were raised to go get a job working for someone else. And he was like,
and they made you get to work overtime because of the fear of getting fired.
Yeah, and but put like this, school, if it's mandatory to go to school and school trains you to work for other people, you know what I'm saying? You get a supervisor and a teacher. Yeah. So they train you for I don't know how many years that you got all these supervisors. So subconsciously you go out there looking for one. You know what I mean?
That's right.
A lot of people do. Now you got some people who are fortunate enough to have a business owner in their family. They gave them the game. Yeah. And say, if you really want real freedom, you need to have your own, hire your own, you know what I'm saying, being able to produce your own product.
He said, it was a white guy, and he was telling me a story once about his kids. And he was like, when his children got old enough to work for the family business, they didn't just let them work for the family business. They had to go work for somebody else for a couple of years first.
Yeah, so they can see what it is, so they can respect it.
And they respect it, and then now you can work. And that makes sense to me. I'm like, that's not being mean. That's actually showing them that you need to cherish what you have. Right. Because going out there is what you're gonna be dealing with. Coming back here, like me working for myself, man, it's not as easy as people think.
It's a different beast, bro.
It's a different beast. You got to make yourself go, man. And then living in a place when there's so much negativity floating around, you know what I'm saying? It make it hard for you, but
just in this world, being a black man on top of all of that and being a business owner, not in a pity party, but it's a reality party.
Yeah, but then they tell you, I mean, being a business owner is what you want. I mean, you want to have some type of freedom to make a decision for yourself, but you got to be willing to make some sacrifices. Right. That's just what it is. But and then at the same time, having your own business is not as good as if you can do something to make more money working for somebody else. Man. So I know a lot of people right now would probably would close what they're doing if multiple folks could come together and open up one major spot.
And they just want to go there and work.
And just go work, and you make more money and have less overhead.
Yep. I know people that own their own shops that you're like, you know what, man, I'm underwater with all this stuff. I want to go to somebody's shop, and I don't want to have to worry about if the note is paid.
It's got to be it's your clientele, man.
Yeah, man.
It's your clientele.
There's so many different things.
So many factors. It's advertisement, clientele. It's the people who want to support you. You know, we support our own people. We can do good, but that's the major issue in the black community. Right.
And I think too, like being an entrepreneur, from what I've been told, some of them say, well, you don't have a boss, but you have. If you don't have one boss, if you're an entrepreneur, you got as many bosses of who will demand your product.
Exactly.
And
So
see,
they're
that's
your boss.
funny. That's what I thought. I thought entrepreneur meant not having a boss, and it's actually the flip.
It's the flip.
You got millions of bosses, especially if you have millions of customers.
Especially if they're the ones putting that money in your pocket.
Exactly.
You just can't serve a mistake on a trash can.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So
Instead
now,
of them pay you.
exactly. So now you coming up. Say for instance, you got all these clients, and you not giving them quality work.
Mm-hmm.
You not being there on time. You not having customer service. You know what I'm saying? Or every time they come in your place, you stinking it up with your attitude. They will definitely fire you. They don't call you in the office, but how customers fire you, they just leave and never come back. Or that word of mouth is a beast too.
Yeah, now that's another thing. You know, when you make mistakes in business, word of mouth can harm you. You know, I've witnessed that myself too.
Right.
Just from being me, just being tardy. You know, things that I slipped on in time and within being self-employed, it can come back to bite you.
Right.
And you got to just man up, and just own up to it. You know, but that don't diminish my skills at all, because I know for a fact.
Just a G with it.
Yeah, you know, what
surgical.
I'm saying? Yeah, surgical with these blades. Now, that's just what it is. But at the end of the day, I'm looking at this next opportunity. That's upon me to do better than what I'm accustomed doing,
right?
Because I know I can,
right?
And it's time. You know, everybody. Just because you get older, you know, I'm 35, but I'm still growing.
Yeah,
I can grow some more.
Exactly.
I'm going to continue to grow until it's time to go.
And if you're living, you're growing.
That's right. And if you can admit that to yourself first, then there's nothing can stop you. But
right.
The person that knows it all and has everything worked out is the most lonely person on the planet, because no one wants to deal with a know-it-all.
True.
You know, I just speak what I understand, but when it's something I don't know, you know, that's what I was saying earlier about my brother. There's certain things that, you know, I look at his drive. I look at how hard he worked, you know, for what he got. You know what I'm saying? And that doesn't take nothing away from myself. I made it all. Because I helped.
Right.
You know, but at the same time, I was working hard to help.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So, and then when it was my time to share principles with him, I was able to. It's like, okay, I'm not on your level when it comes to being out here in the world and on TV and all that, but you know, principles is principles.
Yeah.
You know, the same things you dealing with out there, I dealt with right here in this town.
Nature find everybody, don't it?
That's right. But it's gonna be on a larger scale. But
right.
I don't ever think I can't relate to you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So I put like this, man. We talked about it a little bit earlier. Forms or your fighting style when it comes to warfare. What kind of person are you? What kind of fighting style do you have when you're dealing with warfare, academically, spiritually, emotionally, physically? You know what I mean? Fighting demons of habit.
I've learned to be a thinker.
Okay, elaborate on that.
You always think before you make a move. Just being a thinker, period, because you can respond with anger and make a dumb decision. You know, I've always told this game is chess, not checkers.
Yep.
So
I like
exactly what it is.
Got some good fries.
Yeah, checkers do got some good fries.
Amazing.
But ain't no such thing as no chess restaurant.
Yes,
you ever
true.
seen one called chess? Nope.
You're right.
But you'll see checkers in who neighborhood?
All of ours.
Okay, then.
Wow, I didn't even think about it like that.
Yes. That'd be tight. That'd be tight. I've never seen the churches in a white neighborhood.
Nope.
I always wanted to know why that happened and why
it's fast food.
Not only
so
that,
sad that
not
they
only
don't
that,
have one
because the
down
wing is bigger than the breast, and I'm pretty sure there would have been a complaint by now.
Of course, man.
We just be like, hey, man.
We won. It'd be like, victory. Like for real, man. Then next thing you know, you're like, wow, I thought this was the leg.
Can I just get wings and thighs?
Yeah, it'd be
the thighs be huge too. Boy.
Yeah, exactly, man.
And then the biscuits look like they clog your arteries.
Yeah,
HMOs.
Yeah, boy.
Steroids.
Boy. They come with it like the chicken.
I thought they just cut their chicken differently.
No, bro.
The breast ain't cut the same.
No, the chicken come out the bucket with a dumbbell.
Yes.
Like they swollen.
There's no way.
Like, man, where's the workout tape? All right, but no. Exactly, man. So Houston, you said you're a thinker, right? When you're in war, so you don't necessarily react off your emotions. You know what I'm saying? When something happens, you don't.
Even when you're a thinker, you're gonna react off emotions,
but not knee jerk.
But it's this is who I am now. You know, because I wasn't always a thinker. I was a reactor.
Right.
You know, you react to what is thrown at you, and not realizing someone could be throwing something at you just to get a response.
Yes. Yes.
When I can just bypass some of this mess and realize that's exactly what they want. So why give it to them?
So now a lot of people out there are dealing with situations where they're being taunted. You know what I mean? They're being, and I ain't gonna lie to you, I feel like that as an African American in this country. You know what I mean? Some of the things that we've seen in the last couple of years, when you look at it, you're trying to find a deeper meaning behind it. You know what I mean? At first, you be like, man, this is messed up. And then out of a while, it's happening. And you're like, hold on, something is going on here. It's a lot of stuff that's happening that's being swept up under the rug. Like, I think the young man name is Walter Scott.
Yeah.
And that is a mistrial right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but I don't understand how that happens when this man was clearly shot in the back.
Right, on camera. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so now we're living in a time where evidence means nothing. And evidence used to be the deciding factor. And so now if you can't even lean on evidence, which most criminal investigations depend on.
That means that's just what they want.
Where are we going? And so now that confusion and that isolation, because I ain't gonna lie to you, a lot of black folks feel isolated right now together.
I mean, of course, when you say, I just go to work and go home, and I ain't got time for the foolishness, man.
Yeah,
you really living in prison.
Yeah.
Just so happen your prison got a TV and some Wi-Fi.
Right, that's true. And you can walk. Your prison is just big.
A lot of jails got TV and Wi-Fi.
Yeah, but it's not a jail without the bars. This Camp 8.
Yeah,
ain't no fences here at Camp 8.
That is that is true. Ain't no fences at Camp 8. But it's that line though. It's a line that you can't cross.
Ain't no fences now.
It's a line that you can't cross, man. So
Section 8 housing, Camp 8.
Exactly. And so right now, everybody knows that we're in spiritual warfare right now. And when we're looking at stuff and we're seeing things just being so blatant, you know what I mean? I know a lot of people feel some type of way about the entire political season that we just got finished. People are numb. I know a lot of people
need to be numb. They shouldn't be numb. I'm gonna take it because they should have expected that.
True.
Quit acting like you don't see which was clearly being put in your face.
But a lot of people believe the word democracy, but it's never written. You know what I mean?
They believe it because they want. They believe it because they want to stay in the dark. They've been had plenty of opportunities in my short time. I've seen it, and I've been seen it as a young man and recognized it. And they've had many opportunities just to see it and accept it for what it is, but they don't want to accept it because they want to believe in something that's not true.
Right. And I think a lot of people had this expectation that even if you have a democracy over in this little smaller area, you think everything is a democracy, which it really ain't.
Man, when you realize
don't
they don't care nothing about your thoughts, or they don't care nothing about your vote, when you realize that is what they want, they have an agenda.
Right.
And the agenda is what they're going to have. And and then you're not going to be a part of that if you're not going to be a part of the agenda.
Right. And that's the poking and the when people were messing with people, especially with that voting, right? And you remember we talked about the last show about how many people were going at each other back and forth about why are you voting, why are you not voting. You know what I'm saying? Your vote's supposed to matter. You got to go out and do this. And why did you vote for that person? If you should have voted, that's the reason why we're in this situation.
But then, if you think you got to ask me why did I vote for a person, then you already done messed up.
Right. So
that should be my personal right. And my personal right for not standing up for the national anthem or for not singing the national anthem. If I got a reason why I have, based upon the Constitution, I have the right not to. I have the right to exercise my right. But I mean, when I do exercise it, you ridicule. So
exactly. So the rights don't apply. You know what I'm saying?
Rights. What they're really saying, the rights are not for you because you already looked at it as 3/5 human.
Right. And they mean that too.
So 1/5 got to be your brain that's supposed to be missing because you're supposed to be stupid and just sit there and take this.
And every time you use that brain, you become a threat.
That's right. So what's the other 5th? Your heart?
Yeah.
All you are supposed to be is a robot for me.
Yeah. Or courage. You know, you can be the strongest physically, but you can't think. That's the reason why, that's what a lot of people don't understand, where, you can be physically strong and you can be elevated to the top so everybody can see you.
If they look at you as 3/5 human, then 1/5 of it has to be your mindset that they don't want you to have.
Exactly.
Because that's what make you look at yourself as more than 3/5. Because you're thinking.
Right.
So now I'm a thinker.
Right. And also, too, when it comes to, I understand why the vote means a lot, because a vote is a representative of treatment and your voice. You know what I mean? Now, I don't know, when I cast my ballot, I don't know the person who's going to count my name for the right place. It's almost like gambling. It's almost like paying.
And it's all digital, so who's to say they can do whatever they want.
To me, this is what I do it. because I can, just like I can go anywhere I want. I can vote on Twitter who my favorite rapper is. I can do that if I want to, and I can participate in a political action if I want to. That's my right. I can do it. However, my expectations is dirt low when it comes to somebody counting my vote for where it's supposed to go.
And that's the reason why you have to take a step back and realize, do what you can see, in front of you. Something you can see changing, and once you touch it,
right?
If you can see change in something you touching, then that's what your purpose is.
Yeah,
because you can see it, and you even if it only save 5 or help 5 people,
right?
You help more than yourself.
Yeah, right.
Even if you help one person, it's more than yourself. That equals 2 people.
I think it was also too when we had our ancestors marching and campaigning for the Voting Rights Act. It was more. Don't get me wrong, and I'm not speaking for them. This is how I look at it, right? When I see them wanting to be counted, wanting to be included in the politics of their life. You know what I mean?
The people who had to allow this to happen, don't you think they sat back and figured out a way to let that happen?
Burning the midnight oil.
That's right. let that happen without it still being no change in our power.
Exactly. So you can put like this, if we're marching for the vote, we need to take the power out of the vote.
If we had power, we can do away with the electoral college. We can vote on that. And say we don't want that. But we don't have no power. And we can't say nothing to get them to do that.
And put like this now, say for instance, if you can vote all day, but your money produces the policies.
Yes, but who's printing the money?
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So now we, don't get me wrong. It's just like as a people, we have to keep going, but we have to understand we are. You ever play that game Gopher? I've heard of it. It's just like when they go up and every time you hit one, it's another gopher popping up. You got to hit that one.
Trying to catch.
I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Culturally and when it comes to politically, we playing gopher, man. In my opinion, that's how I see it.
You can look at it like that, or either musical chairs.
Yeah. It's always somebody pulling the chair from under you, and you got to dance. As soon as you hear the music, you got to get up and walk. But you have no idea.
Pulling the chair off my under you. They're just only gonna put out so many chairs.
True.
They put 15 chairs out and got 20 people trying to get in those 15 chairs.
Right. And the money is you can buy chairs instead but the illusion that you have a fair shot at one of them chairs, that's the voting thing. You know what I mean? And I know we got listeners right there. Your vote matters. It does to me. I think it does. However, I do respect the unknown of I have no idea where it's going when I cast it.
Well, it's like this.
That's just one thing I know.
Understand what the system you're dealing with. They can choose to do whatever they want,
right?
And just because it's their system, and that's just what it is.
Yeah.
The main thing we got to realize, like I said, we have to take power and do things in our hand that we can control, which is get in our neighborhoods and take back our neighborhoods. Number one, we gotta do something because it's getting out of hand. Basically, I ain't gonna say getting out of hand. It's out of hand.
Right. Yeah, it is.
It's out of hand.
We're in a new age right now when it come to that, bro.
And from the technology on down to just people not doing the things in the neighborhoods like we used to, from video games and all. It's just sad because the kids are not tough. They can't take criticism. You can't tell them something, very few can, but you can't tell them anything to better them. They think you're just being mean to them.
Right.
And you're trying to teach them that, man, this world don't care. You get out here with this dumb stuff, they don't care. They got somewhere to put you. But at the end of the day, I just feel like even me doing this right here is my purpose.
Yeah. Most definitely.
Somebody hearing it, I don't know everybody that, when you do the live feed that's on your page, I don't know a lot of those people, but I know I see the comments, and when you get personal phone calls for them saying how much they like the show, and they could, because it's like we say things that some people want to say, but they're kind of afraid to say.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But you got to realize, man, in this world, you either gonna live or you gonna be walking dead.
Yep. Like Paul Mooney said, you're going to be running free or running scared. How you running?
But you're going to run either way.
You're going to have to run. Yeah, you got to run. Paul Mooney said that straight up because, Paul Mooney one of the freest people I've ever seen.
Yeah, but he's also one of the people that never got a chance to reach a certain level on their turf because he was so real.
He was just real.
Yeah.
And I think he kind of like the crit of comedy with me, the big crit of comedy. He knows it's better this way when you can go up.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? He knows.
I just stay right here and be in my lane.
And I ain't gonna lie to you, he doesn't fear a lot of. I've never seen Paul Mooney really scared. I've seen some people look around and like, oh my God, what's going on? When I see Paul Mooney, I see first of all, I see a legend. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I see a man, but I see a comedic genius.
Yeah, when you wrote for all the greats, from Red Fox to Richard Pryor to Dave Chappelle to you can keep going. Eddie Murphy, he done wrote for all of the greats, so he got to be something special.
Exactly, and when you around all of that, to be a comedian, you have to have a spiritual eye for everything that you got going on. You have to have the talent to see what other people ain't seeing, and you not only have to have the talent, you're gonna have to have the courage to tell them what you just saw. You know what I mean?
That's right.
There's some things that just slide past you. I know it's certain things that you see that you have to explain to the family members, close people, the homeboys, and you be like, well, I don't see it like that. Well, I know you can't see it like that, but some of the things that I've been through, my eyes are wide open.
That's right. And and I've learned to sometimes keep certain things to myself around certain people.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can tell when someone is mentally searching for something and they're going to receive what you're speaking.
Right.
Or you can also tell when you're speaking with around some people that's going to take what you say and twist it and make you look like something that you're not.
And also, too, you got some people that will attack you because what you're saying is so truthful that it's irritating.
And see, that's why I had to learn to be a thinker. Because I was a reactor.
Yeah.
And it was attacking me because of what I feel or what my opinions was.
Right.
And it would cause me to go into this mode of ready to snap.
Right.
But then I thought about how can I work for God if I can't control myself?
Exactly.
Because that's what the enemy is going to do. He's going to attack me through my weakness.
That's the warfare within yourself.
That's right. So that's the first thing had to go was me not being quick to respond.
Right.
Had to learn to listen.
Right.
So when I learned to listen, now I'm ready.
You really just taught me something. You spoke to me into a thought that you didn't even know I was having.
Yeah.
You spoke to me. That really, I appreciate that. Wow.
That happens all the time, bro.
What thought you had?
Was just it was it's crazy. I put something on Facebook. I was in good spirits, and I was talking about my self-worth. And when you're in a situation, I don't want to say exactly how I was because I don't really want to put my business out there.
That's cool.
But I was talking about myself, referring to myself as royal, and somebody who's not on my team.
That's
period
right.
Whatsoever. They laughed at it. You know how you can put a thing in and laughed at it. And he's one of those people who are linked to my situation abstractly.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was like, it really bothered me. It got under my skin because I was just like, you don't even know what. But it still bothered me.
That one
so
emoji took you out of your peaceful place.
Took me out of my peaceful place. But at the same time, underneath it, me and my brother were responding to something, and he was like, okay. He was like, I toast the goblet to my brother. And I said, Squire, see that my brother, King of Lafayette, is stupid. King of Lafayette receives 1,000 gold pieces by noon or something like that. And it was a laughing emoji. But at the same time, I was taken out of my piece. It could have been just because our comments was funny and you can't respond to them by laughing.
That's right.
So they laughed at the whole thing.
Yeah.
Or they could have thought that, oh yeah, you really think you something, but whatever it is. But it's like, even of me thinking it right now, I'm thinking that's probably not the case because of the side of what they saw.
Yeah.
But
and the story they heard.
Yeah, but it was just like, wow, you know, what you just saying there, you got to realize what you just told me. I can't word it exactly the way you word it because I was listening just to absorb, not to like repeat verbatim, but it was just like, that really spoke to me, like not reacting, because I didn't react externally.
That's right.
I couldn't because of the position that I'm in. I couldn't react externally or say anything. But emotionally, on the inside, mentally, I reacted.
But see, that's natural. And that's another thing. You can't help how you naturally feel about something. But you can control how you respond to it.
Oh, yeah.
So that natural feeling is what it is. But your response, you can sit back, and if you're a thinker, and think your way through it.
See, my problem is, and I learned this about myself in this situation, I want to be perceived as a good person because I feel I'm a good person.
Yeah, but then you worried about other people's perception.
Exactly. And that's my biggest thing, because it's like I've always been tied, my self-worth has been tied to what other people think about me. But I didn't plan for it to be that way. It's just kind of if you know me for a while, longer than we've done this show, in almost anybody I walk around, even as I'm walking away, I can hear them faintly say, that's a real good dude. And it's like you'll sit there, and even though you didn't intend for their validation, you still
they're
use
gonna give it to you.
And you still use it if it's positive.
Well, no. I mean, I mean, yeah.
I do.
If it's positive and negative, you use it.
Yeah,
it don't matter. See what I'm trying to get you to understand? It does not matter. All publicity is good publicity. It doesn't matter.
If you know how to receive
If you know how, writing is rewriting. You can rewrite. Anytime they write a story about you, you can come and rewrite it after them. They can say what they want to say, but I can come behind you and prove that that's not me.
Exactly.
It just takes time. And what you're trying to do, which is what I used to try to do, is make something happen before it's time. Some things you have to let it just play its course. It's not going to work unless you do.
I'm also tell you too, the picture that people are trying to paint on you, after a while, people are going to start looking and realizing the paint was on their hands.
That's it. And everybody ain't Picasso.
Everybody gonna start looking
finger paints.
Yeah, and we sitting up there and they ain't already painted a picture of you, and people think it's you until they find out the person who's trying to paint it, they got all the evidence on their hands. And you ain't even got to do nothing. The only thing you do is just sitting there.
The truth comes to the light, bro.
For real, ain't nothing you can do.
I was the picture was painted to me. I was just the most mean and evil, and all this kind of stuff was said about me when I was going through a similar situation. And they used to bother me so much because I just sit there and I'd be upset, can't sleep. All the stuff you told me, you feel same thing.
Right.
But when I had friends, I had people who cared, and they knew how I really felt about my situation, and they would tell me all the time, you know that ain't you. Why you letting it bother you? You know that's not who you are. We've been knowing you. I've been knowing you for too long I don't even believe that.
Right.
Other friends from previous relationships even though we're not even together, would say stuff like that to help me out, and it was because they was really my friend. They didn't have no ill will towards me. You feel me? So at the end of the day, once we start recovering, and you realize, you know what, this person is just being mean.
Yeah, but I see what you're saying, and I receive what you're saying, but by me, it's being the first time I've ever went through something like that. It's hard for me to do that when I'm like, yeah, that's true, but regardless of what, the people who know me, they're not in control over what happened to my life. People who don't know me are.
Well, see, this is the thing. What you're going through, all I'm doing is foreshadow. I'm giving you some concrete that you can learn to walk on. See, you're going through it for the first time blind. You see? So right now I'm helping you pull the film off your eyes. So you stop beating yourself up. Because realize it's not just you. You know what I'm saying? And for what and everything gonna work itself out. But you're not gonna even live to see the outcome if you keep beating yourself down. There's such a thing called stress will kill you. Oh yeah. And I had to learn that. I had to stop stressing. I had to start working out, eating right, just to make sure I'm all right. Which was really, in the hindsight, that happening to me saved me. Yeah, because I didn't let it drag me down to the point where I was not functioning. Because I was close. It was coming. It was very close. But I had family and friends that kept staying in that ear, saying, "That's not you, D. This is not you. Look at your car. Your car's not clean. Where's your leather jacket at? Where's your clothes out of the cleaners? Where's this? I don't see that no more." And I'm like, I don't care about that no more. You know, I don't care about none of that no more. So like right now, I'm happy again, and I've accepted my situation, and now that I'm happy, I think she knows I'm happy too, because I don't run behind it no more. Yeah, I stopped and realized I'm a king. I'm the head, regardless if we together or not. I'm the head, and it don't matter who believe and agree with you. It sure don't. That one thing I had to realize too. As long as my kids call me daddy, and they know I love them. And anybody try to get in the way, they run up. Hey, that's all I need to see. Well, thing about kings, man, it ain't got nothing to do with no vote. No. Now, when they people say spiritual, brother. Yeah, man, it's something that you know. It's something that's been given to you that no one can take away. I can show up to my kids' school right now and go in their classroom and control their classroom better than their own teachers, just by showing up. And I get text messages saying how much of a king you are, or you change the atmosphere when you show up in the room, and all I do is just show up. Yeah, that's all you got to do. I don't have to do anything. I just show up. This is easy for me. Sitting on this microphone in here, this is easy for me. I can get in front of it. If it was 20,000 people out there, I'd be just as calm.
Yeah. You live in your purpose, man. When you know who you are, man, people are just gonna have to sit back and witness it. It ain't no convincing.
You say greater is he that is in the back and asked to come to the front than he who was in the front and asked to go to the back.
Yeah. My grandma would say all of that. She said, man, always ask to be brought up.
So when they say, oh, he's such a good person,
come on up here.
That's one in the back asked to go to the front because that's naturally who you are. Right. Instead of nice guy who you talking about earlier, nice. Oh, I'm nice to everybody until you see that film come off for you. You a snake. Oh, I want you to go to the back.
Exactly.
Then get nice guy right here who y'all try to paint a bad picture of. He don't look as flashy and as good as you, but his inside is better. So.
But not even just the nice one, the real one. Because I ain't gonna lie to you, genuine people make it. Not perfect, genuine people. Like
you ever seen
who raw with their mistakes and all of that. They come to the front.
A pretty glass sit on the counter that's got cuts, and you like, damn, that's a nice looking Tupperware right there. You know, somebody got that. They bring their good dishes out. You know, when the family company come, but the inside got some dust in it.
Yeah,
and somebody been trying to pour Kool-Aid in the cup and didn't rinse it out. And before you drunk, you looked over in there. Like, dang, I'm gonna turn. I don't want to drink now.
Yeah.
Then there's, oh my bad, I go rinse it out. Like, they go rinse it out, but from that they pour another cup, but that cup will sit there full.
Right.
Yeah, because you'd be like, is it good? Is it washed out good? What's it?
Because now I've seen bad vision.
Yep.
But this cup that's over here, it ain't as pretty. This old hardest cup, the letters don't wore off it a little bit from being in the dishwasher. But they pour Kool-Aid in that one for you. Clean. You drunk out of it.
No holes in it. It ain't cracked.
Nothing. So you say, just because the outside of the cup looks great, the inside can be contaminated.
Yep.
Outside can look bad, but the inside is clean. Which one you gonna drink out of?
Wow. Like a turd in a mansion.
So you can look good on the outside, but you can be contaminated in here.
Yep.
But you cannot look good on the outside, but your heart is a gold.
Pure as you don't know what.
And sometimes you hide those pure hearts and go in places that don't look as good as the other ones because those pure hearts are the ones he's coming back for.
Yeah, that is true.
And he hide them. The world don't see them. People of the world can't see people like us
at all.
There's been plenty of women done overlooked me my whole life. Now they starting to see me, but
when
they
times
overlooked
change.
my whole life. Yeah, times
changing.
Right.
Times changing. You know, I need somebody who may want to stay at home.
Yeah, maybe that's what I want. Yeah, but all before it ain't what it was.
Yeah, man, I be sitting here now like battling the demon in my head of like, man, do I even want any more kids? Do I even want to be in a situation where I could possibly give someone else in a sense? Because I see it like, man, when you lay down with someone and they have your kids, if you love your kids, you kind of give that woman a little bit of control over you. And I'm like,
if you start becoming a thinker, then you a tester before you give her your kids.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. Got to test the soul.
We really got to talk off air.
I learned something.
Yeah.
I'm trying to absorb everything from you.
There's real talk though, man.
Yeah.
That's why if you've noticed, I sit here and listen more since you've been on the show. Then I listen. Don't get me wrong, I listen to Big Chris too, but I just be sitting over here like,
no, he got a game. He got it.
I be like, man, look, I don't got nothing to say.
You just spit the real, dog.
Spit the real, bro. It's just that simple. You got the same gift. You just got to recognize it. You got the same gift. It's just in your own right, in your own light. And until you accept your gift the way you got to do it, the way it's laid out for you, and you constantly living for other people, you're never going to be happy. Never, because you're not doing what's for you.
Right.
And when you comfortable doing what's for you, you ain't gonna give a damn who receive you or who don't.
At all. You
I
just
go
gonna
home,
be doing.
I get in my car right now and ride by myself, and I feel just as good. Don't need no entourage around me. I don't care for it like that. If it ain't coming to that shop I work at, you know, I got friends, I got people that's family members that's towards me, that's inside of me that I care for. They can even say that they don't see me like they used to, and it's nothing hard against them. I've grown up. I realize what's most important. And right now, you know, sometimes you got to stay out of the way in order to get where you're going. And when you learn that, then it's not like, you know, you're almost in hibernation in a sense. Because what this is for me is like, okay, I got to be here next Thursday. I don't need no foolishness to happen
right
until now. What's on the agenda for the weekend? I already know what I got to do. Back to business next week.
Yeah.
That's what it is. This is something I look forward to doing.
My mentor told me something about a centipede effect or centipede something. It's basically there was a I'm gonna tell this wrong, by the way. Let me go ahead and say that. Everybody knew how it was starting out. They were like, "Yeah, he gonna ruin it." But it was a centipede and a frog or whatever, and I think the frog messed around and asked the centipede. You know how centipede got all them feet or whatever. He said, "So which foot you start off with?" And the centipede started thinking about, "Dang, what foot do I start out with?" Instead of just walking. And so he was overthinking himself, trying to make sure he answered to somebody else. Ain't got nothing to do with his whole life. That he didn't even use. Now he had all the feet in the world. Never did put himself in motion, man. And we all go through that. You know what I mean? We try to make sure we have a finished product. I'm pretty sure as an entrepreneur, every time you do it, this is my reputation on the line. You know what I mean? As a comedian, every time I go up on stage, you don't know who recorded, you don't know who in the show. You know what I'm saying? This may be the one and only time you got to shoot your shot, right? And so sometimes you can be so wrapped up in it that you forget to walk. And I realize that, man, it's something that we all struggle with. You know what I mean? I've gotten better at it, but I got a long way to go when it comes to second guessing.
Man, it's like this, bro. Like I told you earlier, once we get to the stage in life where you feel like you don't have nothing else to work on, then you ain't living.
Yep. You probably dead.
You dead.
Wow.
You probably dead.
So, and I accept what I got to work on. I'm actually looking at it as a challenge because I want something to live for. Yeah. You know, and I don't want material things to run me to the point where this is what I want and I got to have this. And look, I can do without some of that stuff, man. Now, I know God said He wants us to be prosperous. You know, the Creator wants us to be prosperous. He give us all these luxuries based upon this nature itself. You can take something from nature and make this phone.
Yeah, we're born.
You know, so He wants you to do that, but He don't want it to control you to the point where it change you and stop you from living for Him.
Right.
So that's true. That's what's wrong with society, folks. Right now, our teenage girls and guys are being taught about it's all it's about is a certain type of clothes you got to wear, a certain way you're supposed to look, and if you don't look this way or sound a certain way, then you ain't this. You got females thinking they wife material just because they beautiful.
Yes,
and they don't even understand that that's 20% of being a wife is your looks,
if that much.
Because you see guys all the time marry somebody that you like, well, she's not all that attractive, but I guarantee you she treat him like a king.
Oh yeah, because she a wife.
Yeah, she's a wife.
Yeah.
She see it. You know, and we don't help out that situation at all either when we glorify the chicks that's out there with
we put them on pedestals.
Skimpy clothes and whatever. We put them on pedestals because we give them all these props in public. But when, you know, we don't talk about the real when what's going on in the other side. We just give them the green light to be the shoulder piece.
You know a question I like to ask now?
What's that?
When a woman, she'll be like, well, a man got to do this. He's supposed to do this. This is how he's supposed to make me feel. This is what a good man is. You know what I say?
You know what I say to that?
What?
What are you going to do for me?
That's exactly what I was finna get to. But what I say is, I said, okay, so that's how a woman is supposed to be treated, period, right? And this is what'll mess them up. I'd be like, I agree. A good woman a man should treat a good woman that way. So in return, how do you treat the man that treats you that way?
And be detailed.
Yeah, how can you
be detailed? And then they'd be like,
how can you
you forgot that part, right?
Because it's rehearsed.
Yes.
Somebody, their auntie, grandmama, mama, sister, somebody told them that. All right? And a lot of them don't really feel that way. They just what they were told it's supposed to be. But when you say, okay, you got all these demands for me, but okay, what about my demands for you?
Right.
And are you meeting me halfway with this? And if you can't get that, then why even waste your time? Why even waste your time with looking for that person to be somebody that's going to be there for you for the rest of your life? You're talking about marriage. You're talking about for the rest of your life. And this person is showing up saying, oh, he broke. I ain't got nothing. I can't do nothing with him. But you broke too. So why are you going to degrade me for something that's you the same as me? Right. I'm broke, but you broke. So I guess you're saying, well, two broke people can't coexist. No, two broke people can come up together. They don't want to work. They want somebody that's got a ready-made situation. Not all of them, just some of them. And then some guys just is sorry. You know, they don't want to get up and go to work. They want to let her go, and they sit home and eat cereal and play PlayStation
all day.
But they accept that. So how can you be mad at him?
And sometimes them be the man they put the most effort into it, because
that's the one they put the most effort into. They want to change you. Most women's job, and women's by nature, they want to change you. Not for bad. It's how they do it. You know, some
Right.
women know how to uplift their man when he's slipping. They know what to say to him to get him to stay motivated to try to do better, instead of just nagging him and tearing him down, telling him what he ain't this and he ain't that. You know, but if the smart women like the Claire Huxtables in the world, she knew how to. She knew that's how you uplift. You know, she knew how to encourage Heathcliff when he's slipping.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? She knew how to, and it's a lot of women that they're not on status quo on Claire Huxtable level, but they mentally on that level. They understand this is what I'm supposed to do in this moment.
Yeah. And a lot of people know what they're doing ain't working. A lot of people know that, you know, and just like you said, a lot of stuff is rehearsed.
I can't stand to see a good woman with a man who don't, because it happened the other way around too. I can't stand to see a good statement. I can't stand to see. Have you ever seen a good woman? You see a queen, and you be like, man, why won't she let that dude go?
Yeah,
she be sitting there trying to uplift them and everything.
Yeah, but when you look at it, I mean, you'll say, well, I can't stand to see that, but at the same time, I've learned to love to see it, because I had to learn to love it. I love to see it now, because I understand that queen right there. Somebody was trying to shoot her some game and let her know, look, you better than that.
Right.
But what she do? I got to go see for myself. So some people learn by listening. Some people got to go through it.
Yeah.
So that'll make she's still a queen.
I sure had to go through it.
Be ready for something else.
Yeah. Some people, like all of us, I know we got different ways of learning. It depends on the category. I have to learn the hard way. I just know that.
I've went through that stage myself.
But it depends on the category. There's some stuff you can tell me straight up and be like, I believe you. I'm going to go ahead and get that straight then.
That's right.
Like, you know what I mean? I'm going to go ahead and do what I need to do. But it's some things be like, no, you don't want to do that. I'm like,
I do know one thing, and my mom be like, I don't like her. And be like, because my mom, she'll be like, I don't know. It's just something about her spirit.
Let me tell you something, man. It's time to choose your bride. You choose your bride. And if moms don't like her or like her, don't let that be no factor.
Yeah, man.
I don't know. Every person she hasn't liked has been.
Sometimes, man, I'm just saying, man. Sometimes it's a touch and go thing, because it's just something about women and their sons,
man,
and then it's something about us as mama's boys that we'll let moms get in the way of your wife, and that's where you be slipping at, and she be trying to tell you don't want to hear. I was my mama. I don't want to hear that mess, but you know what? You can't sleep with your mama.
That's true. It's just like that father-daughter stuff.
Backwoods type.
That's right there. It is father-daughter.
Father-daughter stuff. If she's real close to her daddy, and you know, there's something I don't like about him, and then all of a sudden she'll maybe treat you wrong, treat you dirty,
or whatever he say, she take over what you say.
Exactly.
And or she need to be married to him.
Or whatever he put in her ear, she's about to blame you for something that she never asked you that you done. You know what I mean? And so like that's why it's really important to honor your parents.
Yeah, but you
don't mimic your parents. That's one thing about honoring and mimicking.
Everything moms and pops do is not right.
Right, that's real.
That's what we as
the thinking part come in.
As their children. Sometimes we like we were saying one time about religion. Well, my grandmama was this and that's what I'm gonna do this. But when you see the difference and know something is not right, do you continuously follow it? Or would you make a change? Like if I see, jumping this ramp, this bicycle ramp right here, close by this cliff, I seen 4 people fall off the cliff and kill themselves.
Right.
Am I going to continue to jump this ramp because it's a tradition? Or am I going to say, traditions can be changed? The word say, tradition is what's going to lead man to hell. Because instead of changing and evolving with common sense and wisdom, you're going to keep riding something into the grave when you see it's clearly death.
Yeah, you're right. Traditions of man is a beast, bro. Because, like, just doing something just to be doing, just passing that baton down, you don't even know where you running. You just running just to be running. But I'm old. This is the family tree. You ever heard them family curses that a lot of people talk about?
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Right. And so some people, I know people say, well, my dad was a drinker. That's just in the blood. I said, no, it's in the stove.
Yeah.
You weren't born at the liquor store, dude. Your dad made them decisions, and you about to make something. You about to mimic that because you trying to grab the baton.
That's so funny because my grandfather drank heavily, and he drank heavily, so my dad didn't really bother with alcohol. I don't care. I'll drink every now and then. I don't care for it. My dad real bad with gambling. I don't gamble. Not even on some, hey man, I bet you $5. Like I don't even do that. You right. You can stop a tradition.
Guess what? You can stop that tradition, but you create another one.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
That's true. Because you're man, it's some rituals we got every day. It's something
we so focused on changing something that's been passed down through us, we're not paying attention to what we done created on our own.
Oh yeah.
Until somebody pointed out.
Oh yeah. And especially when you start talking about trauma, man. Trauma, people don't understand how deep trauma goes, and I really don't understand it either. Whatever you remember, the genesis of your issues or whatever it is, you either going to make sure you do it or you're going to make sure it never happens. And both of them are traditions. Both of them.
Wow.
Making sure something happens that you went through, or making sure something that you went through never happens again and your child never goes through it. And that's a new tradition you about to start. Whether it could be good or bad. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. But a lot of us, when we don't think about it, that's when it can become dangerous. You know?
So don't be a reactor, be a thinker.
Be a thinker.
That's the first step.
Just be a thinker.
At least you something may not work out the way you want it, but at least you had the opportunity to breathe and make a wise decision for your first move.
Right. You
know?
So that's why that critical thinking, like we talked about mental warfare today. I know we talked about a lot of things that we probably may see and how we approach certain things. But ladies and gentlemen, man, y'all have to understand, going through tough times is a part of living. If you got an easy life and ain't nothing happening to you, I'm pretty sure after a while, the complacency in that will get uncomfortable. And that's a war in itself. Battling discomfort. You know what I mean? And so your mind is a terrible thing to waste. But your mind is a terrible thing to allow somebody else to control as well.
Exactly.
It's the worst thing you can do to let somebody else control how your mind goes. I was reading the Marcus Garvey book the other day about the life and times of him, I believe, and the UNIA movement or whatnot. And he was just talking about the difference between the soul and the mind. And the soul is where the mind lives. I mean, where the mind is where... the soul is where the mind lives. And so just, you ever heard of as a man thinketh, so is he?
Yeah.
If they can control your mind, they control you, just like everybody already knows that. But your soul and everything that comes out of your mouth, that comes from your mind, tells you who you are. And if you find yourself repeating just what somebody else is saying, you ain't you.
That's right.
You just ain't you. You know, you may be playing somebody else, you try to carry on somebody else's tradition, trying to make sure you look good for people, and we all deal with it. We all know what politics is. We trying to do our thing while we on this planet. We trying to be quote unquote successful, and every day I wake up I try to find out exactly what the definition of that word is and how I want to define. If I don't know that definition, or if I see that definition, how do I want to define it today? You know, one thing. Go ahead.
No, I'm just listening, man, because, you know, right now it's about that time for me to go touch this stomach a little bit.
Oh, yeah, I'm hungry too, bro.
Call me in something. I'm cooking.
Exactly. I'm hungrier than a lockjaw buzzard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's time to do something.
That's hilarious.
You never heard me say that before?
Lockjaw buzzard?
Yeah, I can't even scavenge for nothing.
Yeah, I got to have me. It's going to go down.
That's hilarious, man. But ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all so much for tuning in. This is Manhood Mindset, Zeta Delta Delta, chapter of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, man. And we appreciate y'all listening in. Make sure you email us at zetadeltadelta@gmail.com. Go to ustream.com and search Manhood Mindset. We'll have several of the recordings on YouTube as well. So when you go to youtube.com, you type in Manhood Mindset or Manhood Mindset Zeta Delta Delta, and you'll see all of the episodes popping up. All right, so we'll really appreciate that. Do we got any closing remarks before we roll up out of here?
I'm good. I'll be looking forward to coming back next week or whenever the next show.
For sure.
Something for y'all to hear this time.
For sure.
That's lit.
We're gonna be here. We're going to be here next week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, so just in case you are wondering, we will be back next week. Suited and booted. All of that and all that good stuff, man. You got a closing remarks, dog?
Man, that's it. Besides loving yourself, it's very hard to do when you've been trained not to.
Yep.
Yes.
Love yourself. That's all I got to say.
Yep. Break them chains, man. Psychological chains are the worst ones. They the tightest. And they the coldest, for real.
Indeed, that's it.
But do your thing, bro. Take us out.
All right. All right, this was Manhood Mindset on WVGS 91.9. The Buzz. It's better this way.
Yep.